You're watching The Issue Is.
And welcome to The Issue Is. I'm Elex Michaelson, and one of the thorniest issues internationally is China's relationship with Taiwan. Taiwan, of course, says it's an independent country of 23 million. China says Taiwan is a part of China. Recently, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi of San Francisco led a delegation of lawmakers to Taiwan, including Congressman Mark Takano of Riverside. They met with the Taiwanese president, even though the U.S. technically does not have a formal diplomatic relationship with Taiwan. After that trip, China punished Taiwan by intensifying military drills in the waters surrounding the island. China also sanctioned some of Taiwan's trade with China. Joining us now to talk about it is Congressman Mark Takano. Of course, traveled to Taiwan. He's a member of the Asian Pacific American Caucus and is the chair of the House Committee on Veterans Affairs. Congressman Takano, welcome back to The Issue Is, and thank you very much for joining us from your trip to Hawaii. It looks beautiful behind you.
It's beautiful here, and I'm taking a moment out before what I know is going to be a very, very vigorous next few weeks.
Yeah, it will be. But let's first talk about where you have been. Why this Taiwan trip, and why right now?
The trip to Asia was something the Speaker had long planned. We planned to go back in January, and the COVID surge here in our country put a damper on that. We tried to go back in April, and the Speaker got COVID, and we rescheduled for August. And of course, we had to be very fuzzy about whether we actually were going to go to Taiwan for security reasons. But this was something that an Asia trip to Asian democracies was something that we had long planned, and the future of the century for America is going to depend on our greater engagement in this region. Taiwan will not be isolated. The United States of America, the people of the United States, the Congress is united in ways that we haven't seen the Congress united in quite a while.
I mean, it really is remarkable to see so many Republicans backing Nancy Pelosi on anything. They are on this. But we also know that China is hugely powerful and very deeply invested in America's economy. And there were these reports about some dissension in the Biden administration with you doing this. Did President Biden ask you all not to go on this trip?
President Biden never told Speaker Pelosi don't go. He never said that. There may have been others in the administration who disagreed with our going, but President Biden did not. We flew on a blue and white plane, and very ably piloted, by the way. I can't get into much of the details, but the Chinese were messing with us, and I can't get into details of that. But they were doing things to interfere with our getting there. But 250,000 Taiwanese were following us. They were following the trajectory of our plane. There was some way in which they were able to do that through aeronautics and the way that they track planes.
So are you suggesting that China's military was actively doing things to your plane while it was in the air to try to stop you from landing?
Well, Alex, I can't say much more. All I can say to you is that we were very much aware that the Chinese did not want to see us go.
Wow. And
we asserted that we were doing very much what other congressional delegations done, what other speakers have done, other speakers of the House, that this was not a change to the status quo.
Were you scared about landing? Were you concerned for your safety?
I had a very high degree of confidence in our military and all the precautions they were taking. Nevertheless, the delegation did join in hands, and Chairman Meeks of the Foreign Affairs Committee, the Speaker asked him to lead us in a prayer. And he prayed and said, and he framed it in terms of good trouble, that what we were doing was getting into good trouble, in the terms of John Lewis, that we are standing up for a plucky democracy. And we're not going to allow that democracy to be isolated. And we're not going to allow a new normal to be established, a new status quo. We are simply abiding by the present status quo, and we're not going to allow that to change. That's the good trouble we were getting into.
I'm sure Congressman Lewis would be proud of you for that. I want to talk about another topic now. You are the chairman of the House Veterans Affairs Committee, and you just had a big bill. That was your bill that the president signed. It's called the PACT Act, got a lot of attention. This has to do with veterans impacted by burn pits overseas, making sure that they get the health care that they deserve. We know Jon Stewart got involved in trying to get this thing passed through the Senate. There were some roadblocks there. You were there, front row, watching this legislation get signed, your legislation. What was that like for you to see this become law?
Enormously proud moment for me. I have to say, if I do anything equal or greater than getting something like the PACT Act signed into law, I'll feel very fortunate in terms of a legislative career. This is the biggest piece of legislation that I've been behind. But more than that, I think about the 3.5 million veterans and the victory this is for them, the anxiety they no longer have to feel about whether their families are going to be taken care of, that they should get a debilitating illness associated with these burn pits. There was so much more to this bill than the burn pits, Alex. We also declared 23 new presumptive illnesses. This is a big healing moment for a country that's been through 20 years of conflict, both in Afghanistan and in Iraq. And the global war on terror extends beyond that.
Highlight of your career so far?
I would say it's the highlight of my career. This is a huge moment for our country, and I believe that it can bring our country together.
Let's hope so, because we need more unity in this country. Congratulations.
We do.
That is something to be really proud of. Congressman Mark Takano, thank you so much, and enjoy Hawaii.
Thank you.